Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Little Rachel Ziegler. It's been a while since we've made a Rachel Ziegler video. Honestly, I think it's been a little bit too long.
Weird.
Well, we're back with some more content as the Rachel Ziegler saga has officially come to an end, at least for now, at least pertaining to the whole Snow White fiasco. Who knows what movie she's gonna ruin next with her absurd and distasteful tactics, but the Snow White saga has officially culminated with not only the crash and burn of the movie, an absolutely dismal domestic and foreign box office opening. No, not only that, but now the whole thing has spiraled so utterly out of control that even people within the own industry are now making public comments absolutely excoriating her for her selfish and narcissistic behavior. An individual by the name of Jonah Platt, who apparently is the son of the producer of the film, has now come out publicly, and well, let's just say he didn't mince his words. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so just like I said, the son of the producer of the new Snow White movie just dropped an absolutely scorching hot take on either Instagram or Facebook. I don't know, I can't even tell anymore. I don't exactly use those platforms. But anyways, just take a look at this. Actually, as I'm seeing this, it definitely looks like Instagram. But anyways, someone I guess replies to one of his posts and says, "Your dad flew to NYC to reprimand a young actress? Any words on this? Because that's creepy as hell and uncalled for." Right, all criticism towards any woke woman is automatically creepy and uncalled for, and probably something along the lines of mansplaining or the patriarchy or abuse. She says people have the right to free speech. Shame on your father. And then Jonah Platt responds, "You really want to do this?" Yeah, my dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics in the middle of promoting the movie, which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability, and her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean that you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussion. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all of the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled and encouraged. Absolutely spot on. And he really hit the nail on the head with that last comment. Narcissism is not something to be coddled and encouraged. Rachel Ziegler's behavior during this entire promotional cycle of this movie has been straight up unhinged. She turned every press tour into her little TED Talk so she could go on and on about her political worldview.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. The ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures, doesn't sound like something a little kid would like.
I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie. It's no longer 1937. She's not gonna be saved by the prince, and she's not gonna be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. The fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader.
She mocked the original film, went on these weird rants about toxic masculinity and about how the prince in the original story is creepy. She made the whole thing about her, constantly virtue signaling and pushing divisive politics, and then once it was all backfiring, she waged war on the very audience that she was supposed to be courting. She is the perfect embodiment of this modern, toxic leftist celebrity narcissist. It's the same shtick every time. Posture as the moral authority, bash the fan base, insert your totally uninformed political hot takes, and then cry the victim when the backlash hits. And now that's exactly what she's doing. She's playing the victim, whining about all the hate that she's receiving. It's also unjustified, right? Meanwhile, she's been pouring gasoline on the fire for years. I mean, don't act shocked when your movie tanks after you literally told your critics, quote, "We don't want your business."
If you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
I mean, come on, let's be real. She tanked this movie from the start. She is a walking, talking PR disaster factory. All she had to do was promote the damn movie and try to come off as likable as possible. You know, the movie probably would have tanked either way just because it was kind of a steaming pile of you-know-what. Disney clearly retconned the original IP to be a story about female empowerment and some communist utopia ending, but she obviously made it worse. She could have just stayed back, done her best to be as likable as possible, not to alienate any of the viewers, and then let Disney take all the heat, but no, instead she said, "Hold my beer, Disney. I'll make this whole thing about me." Jonah Platt hit the nail on the head. She's an employee and she was paid a multi-million-dollar contract to do publicity for the movie. You don't accept that money, sign the contract, and then go out every 2 seconds, alienating people for having different political viewpoints. I mean, let's not forget this post that she made after Donald Trump won the election, where she said that she wishes that Trump supporters never know peace. I mean, what do you think that's going to do for the movie? Especially when the majority of the country, in other words, the potential customers for your movie, voted for Trump. Then we've got this gem right over here.
The amazing thing about our world right now, and by amazing I mean really unfortunate, is that we will never have a candidate that we all 100% agree is the best choice to lead the free world. But what we should be able to agree on is that the alternative means that the world is no longer free. Abstaining from the vote, voting third party, I'm sorry to say, and obviously voting for Donald Trump is voting for no longer having the ability to disagree with our politicians and have the opportunity to make real change. I'm very scared to live in that kind of future. And if you are too, I hope you will join me in voting early and voting blue.
Again, constantly inserting politics where it just shouldn't belong, and coming from somebody as unsophisticated, ignorant, and unimpressive as her. I mean, that argument that she made there, lukewarm IQ. She's obviously slow and has no ability to formulate a coherent argument. Yet here she is, looking down on everybody else for having different viewpoints. You're obviously ignorant on the issues. Instead of making real strong arguments, all she does is make these weird facial expressions and snarky, vapid comments. And look, nobody's out here saying that celebrities aren't allowed to have opinions and that free speech doesn't apply. We're just saying maybe, practice a little bit of discretion. Maybe try not to come off as a complete toxic sociopath. You're under contract to promote a product. That's it. When you're hired as an actress to promote a movie, it's not your platform for performative activism, especially when you're uninformed and reckless with your words. And I know some people think that Rachel Ziegler, oh, she's just so brave, what a brave queen. But she's not brave, just dumb, just selfish, really. And the actions she took not only hurt her career and her image, but it hurt Disney's image, and it affected a whole lot of people who, just as Jonah Platt said, depend on the success of these movies so they can get work. And clearly this Hollywood narcissist put her own ego, her own gripes, her own insecurities above all of those people because she couldn't handle the criticism. She acted like a complete and utter fool, and now she's officially FAFO'd beyond belief. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you on the next one.